everyone, Miss Karen here with your program for the day, and it is how to draw the Japanese footbridge by Monet. Now, it would probably be helpful if during this presentation you would be able to see the original Japanese footbridge that we're trying to copy, so let's see if I can just make that happen. So much better now. So we're going to be using a couple of different techniques to do this. We're going to need, our supplies are going to be crayons, markers, cup of water, paintbrush or Q-tips, either one, you don't need both. I happen to think the Q-tips work better. Some paper, something to work on like a paper towel, and salt. So the way this works is we're going to do some of the parts in crayon and then some of the parts in marker, and then we're going to go over the marker with some water on the Q-tip so then it makes it look like paint. And what the crayon is going to do is the water won't muddy up the crayon, so those features are going to stand out much more clearly. So this painting is an example of impressionist art, which means from far away you see exactly what it is, but if you get up really close you see that a lot of those details are just little splotches of color, which is nice when you're trying to recreate it because it might be hard to draw a person or to draw a detailed flower, but splotch of pink, we got that. So this is what it's going to look like when you're all done. Now the first thing we're going to do is you're going to draw that bridge, and you're going to need to do it in crayon. I recommend using a darker green crayon because I've done this a couple of times, and the lighter ones fade into the background when we do the water part, when the other colors mix in with it. So you're going to get a nice dark green crayon, and about halfway up the page you're going to make a rainbow, and another rainbow, and another rainbow. And the bottom rainbow part, you're going to color in really thick, make that a thick line. The other ones don't have to be quite as thick. You do want to press a little hard. And then the top one. And then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to put the lines down for the bridge, the railings. If at any point during the video you need to pause it to catch up, just hit pause. It's all good. Now, the next thing you're going to do while you have that green crayon in your hand is just draw an upside down U that goes just about to the top of the bridge and down. That is going to be the outline for your water. I know it's a little hard to see because I did it very lightly. It's really just for you to be able to judge where your water is. Now, we're going to work on all of these water lilies at the bottom. So like I said before, you need a splotch of pink to be a flower. Awesome. So take out a couple of pinks, a little light one, dark one, maybe something that's a little bit purplish. And in the actual painting of Japanese footbridge, you'll notice that the water lilies are kind of in clumps together. There's like a bunch of them, and there's some space, and there's like another bunch of them. So that's what you're going to do. In the spot where you do the water, just make these little splotches, these little like kind of flat ovals, in wherever you want them to be. And you can switch around your colors, make a few darker ones, make a few that might be a little bit purplish. So you're going to keep going until you have a bunch of them done. And I'm just going to set it up so you have the picture nice and big so you can see it for a minute. Feel free to pause the video when you see the big picture up. So, now that you have a lot of those water lilies in, if you notice in the original picture, there's almost like a lightish surrounding around some of the water lilies. So what I did was I took a gray crayon And super lightly, and you can just color right over your pink. It won't show up. Super lightly. You're not even going to see it on the video. Just trust me, it's there. You're just going to go around all the pink splotches that you made. You're not going to color in the whole thing. You're just going to put in a slight light gray background, and that's just going to keep it so when we put in the water, it looks like you have these beds of water lilies that are all together. Just super lightly, you're going to do that. I don't know how well you'll see it, but I'll move it up really closely to see. You can sort of see here, I have this little line that goes around. Okay, now the next thing, we're going to be done with the crayons, and we need to take our markers. Now, first we're going to work on the water. So you're going to take whatever shades of blue you want, and you can do a couple of shades, and the water is in ripples that are going horizontal. So all you're going to do is you're going to take a marker and fill in the area where you made that upside down U. You're just going to scribble like this, all in between your water lilies, going back and forth horizontally. You don't have to color the whole thing in. You're just doing some scribbles. If you want to add a lighter blue in there, you can do that too. It's okay if you go over your water lilies a little bit because they're not going to do anything. You have crayon over there, which won't let the marker really stick to it. Okay, now we're going to start doing the green around. The green that's going to go in this area, that's mostly grasses. So we're going to make them up and down, kind of like a lot of W's like that. A bunch of little patches of grass. Again, you're not coloring the whole thing in, just making a bunch of patches of grass. And then the top part, those are a lot of bushes and trees, so those look more round in the picture. So when you're getting behind the bridge, and again, you can go right over the crayon, it won't make a difference. You're going to make like almost like clouds with your green. Okay, and again, if you need to pause to catch up, that's fine. The next part now is where we're going to turn all this marker into like watercolors. So you're going to get a Q-tip, you're going to get your water, dip it in, and you can start with the blue, and you can see I'm just going to paint it, and it's filling it all in like paint. Get some more water. I'm going to do the next section. You can also just go over the parts where you have your water lilies. Because we did them in crayon, it's not going to make a bit of difference. Some more water. Now, if you think that you need a little more with the blue, like on the edges, like I think I do, you could just go back with the marker, put some more of that in, and you can go back and go over that with the water again. And then you're going to get another Q-tip or the other side if you haven't used it, and you're going to do the same thing with the green. It's going to go back and forth over it. You're going to keep going over the whole thing, up at the top, until you have the whole page covered. Now, if you notice on my original one here, the water looks pretty cool down here. That's what the salt does. Once you have everything covered and with the water, so it's all looks like watercolor and it's all modeled together, then you're going to take a tiny bit of salt and sprinkle some salt just on the water. The salt makes it have this really cool splotchy effect that you see, but do not go overboard with the salt. I did that the first time and you can see my entire picture faded. So you really only want to put the salt on the water part, and then when it's all done and you let it dry, you'll have this really cool effect. If you want to learn more about Monet or other Impressionist artists, you could check out these books. Monet's Japanese Footbridge is on display at the National Gallery of Art in Washington, D.C. This is their website because they have a really fun kids activity that they have online for this piece of artwork. So I hope you enjoyed that. Again, Monet's Japanese Footbridge. Have a great rest of your day.